It was supposed to be a quiet Sunday morning. The sun was warm, the coffee was hot, and the world felt calm until Marcus Johnson's phone wouldn't stop buzzing. At first, he thought it was spam. But then, message after message started popping up. Hey man, congrats on the house sale. Didn't know you were moving. Where to? Why didn't you tell us? Marcus blinked in confusion. Sell his house? What were they talking about? He hadn't even thought about moving. Curious and a little uneasy, he opened his laptop and typed his address into a real estate site. The moment the results appeared, his heart skipped a beat. There was his home, with actual photos of his porch, his living room, even his backyard, listed for sale. The listing description read, owner desperate to sell fast. Needs gone by next month. Contact for quick deal. Price tag, $450,000. Marcus leaned back, jaw tight. Who would do this? He clicked contact seller, and that's when his confusion turned into fury. The email address wasn't his. It wasn't even someone random. It belonged to Karen Miller, the president of the neighborhood HOA. Marcus knew Karen all too well. She was the type who complained if your grass was half an inch too long, or if you parked a visitor's car on the street for more than an hour. She had a clipboard for everything and a rule book longer than the Bible. But this wasn't micromanagement. This was malicious. He felt his pulse quicken. The listing wasn't just fake. It had his private home photos, taken straight from his old property listing years ago. Somehow, Karen had dug them up and reposted them as if she owned his home. Marcus clenched his fists. All right, Karen. You think you can push people around because of your title? Let's see how you like being on the other side of the law. He shut his laptop with a sharp click. The coffee sat untouched now, because a man who once just wanted peace had a new mission. Find out why his home was listed and make whoever did it pay. Little did Karen know, Marcus wasn't just another homeowner she could bully. He was a real estate lawyer who knew every trick, every law, and every loophole she just violated. The next morning, Marcus walked straight to the HOA office. He didn't knock, didn't wait, just pushed open the glass door and stepped inside. And there she was, Karen Miller, sitting behind her little wooden desk like the queen of the neighborhood. Her hair was perfectly curled, her pearls gleaming, and her smug smile waiting like always. Well, Marcus, she said without even looking up from her tablet, I heard your house might be selling soon. Exciting, isn't it? Marcus dropped a printed copy of the online listing right in front of her. You mean this one? Care to explain why your email address is on it? For a split second, her confident smile cracked. But Karen was quick. She adjusted her glasses and let out a fake laugh. Oh, dear, that must be a misunderstanding. I just help coordinate listings for our neighborhood sometimes. Probably a system mix-up. Marcus leaned forward. Without the owner's consent? Karen's eyes narrowed. Marcus, this neighborhood has standards. Some of us have been concerned your property isn't, well, fitting the image of the community. Marcus's jaw tightened. What exactly do you mean by image, Karen? She gave a stiff smile. You know, the kind of people we attract here. We like it peaceful, polished, and, well, professional. He stared at her for a long second, and the ugly truth hit him. She didn't like him, not because of his yard, not because of his car, but because of his skin color. You do realize this is illegal, right? Marcus said coldly, you impersonated a homeowner and posted a fraudulent listing. That's real estate fraud. It's not just unethical, it's criminal. Karen smirked, pretending not to care. Oh, please, it's just a listing. Nobody's going to buy it. Don't be dramatic, Marcus. He stood, keeping his tone calm but firm. You made a big mistake, and I'm not going to let it slide. Karen waved dismissively. Go ahead, lawyer boy. Sue me if you think you can. Marcus didn't respond. He just gave her one long, steady look, the kind that said you're going to regret this. Then he turned and walked out of the office. Karen thought she could bully Marcus like everyone else in the neighborhood, but she had no idea she just declared war on a man who wrote the very law she broke. That night, Marcus sat in his home office, the soft glow of his desk lamp reflecting off a wall lined with law degrees and framed real estate licenses. He wasn't just angry anymore, he was focused. This wasn't about pride. It was about principle. He opened his laptop and began his investigation. Hours passed as he combed through every digital breadcrumb linked to that fraudulent listing. He traced the IP address, contacted the hosting website, and submitted an official verification request. By morning, his inbox pinged with a reply. The listing was submitted from an IP address registered to the HOA office. User, K.Miller. Marcus smiled grimly. Gotcha. But he didn't stop there. Over the next few days, he gathered everything. Screenshots, timestamps, emails, and even testimonies from neighbors who complained about Karen's past HOA abuse. One neighbor, Mrs. Parker, admitted that Karen once tried to fine her for hanging laundry outside. Another confessed Karen had warned them not to rent to certain types of people. It was a pattern, a long trail of discrimination hiding behind community standards. Marcus leaned back, eyes cold. This isn't just HOA harassment. This is targeted racial discrimination, and I'm going to expose it. When the next HOA board meeting arrived, the room was packed. Residents murmured quietly as Marcus entered with a thick folder under his arm. Karen sat at the head of the table, pretending nothing was wrong. Marcus stood and cleared his throat. Before we discuss neighborhood maintenance, I'd like to address an act of fraud committed by this HOA's president. The room fell silent. He handed out copies of the evidence. Photos, the fake listing, the confirmation from the website admin, the IP address logs. Karen's smile faded with each page. This, Marcus said firmly, is a documented case of fraudulent property listing, done by the person sitting right here. And given her statements and behavior, it qualifies as racial harassment under housing law. Gasps filled the room. Karen stammered, This is ridiculous. You're twisting things. But Marcus didn't raise his voice. He simply looked her in the eye. You wanted to play with property laws, Karen. You picked the wrong opponent. Rehook. Karen's empire was cracking. But she wasn't done yet, because when people like her feel cornered, they don't back down, they fight dirtier than ever. After the explosive HOA meeting, Karen didn't apologize. She didn't even flinch. Instead, she went on a revenge campaign. The very next day, Marcus's mailbox was flooded with fake violation notices. One said his porch light was too bright. Another claimed his trash bins were visible from the street. She even cited him for leaves falling onto the sidewalk. Marcus chuckled bitterly as he read them. She's really losing it, he muttered. But it didn't stop there. Karen started whispering rumors around the neighborhood, claiming Marcus had threatened her and created a hostile environment. She painted herself as a poor, innocent woman being intimidated by an aggressive man. Her biggest weapon, though, was social media. Within days, a Facebook group titled Protect Our Neighborhood Integrity appeared. Karen was the admin. She posted long rants about certain homeowners who were trying to bring chaos into their community. Though she never mentioned Marcus by name, everyone knew exactly who she meant. Marcus saw the posts. He saw the comments from a few people who believed her lies. But what Karen didn't know was that the truth travels too, and faster. Marcus calmly uploaded a public statement of his own, a short, professional video where he explained everything, showing screenshots, timestamps, and even an email trail linking Karen to fraudulent house listing. He didn't insult her. He didn't yell. He just told the truth, clearly and confidently. Within hours, the neighborhood group exploded. People started commenting things like, "Wait, she did the same thing to the Millers last year. She fined me for painting my fence beige instead of white. Karen's been abusing her position for years." The tide turned almost instantly. By the end of the week, the HOA board called an emergency meeting, this time without Karen at the head of the table. When Marcus walked in, everyone stood. The chairperson cleared his throat and said, "Mr. Johnson, we've reviewed your evidence. Karen Miller has been officially removed from the HOA board effective immediately." Karen, red-faced and trembling, stood in disbelief. "You can't do this. I am this HOA." Marcus looked her dead in the eyes. Not anymore. But Marcus wasn't done yet. He won the neighborhood's respect. But now, it was time to win justice in court. Weeks after Karen's downfall in the HOA, Marcus wasn't done. He had exposed her lies publicly, but he knew that real justice only came when the law stepped in. So he filed an official civil lawsuit. His claim: fraudulent misrepresentation, defamation, and racial discrimination under federal housing law. It didn't take long for the case to gain attention. News outlets picked it up. Headlines read, HOA president faces legal action for fake home listing. Black homeowner fights back against HOA harassment. Karen tried to spin the story again, crying on local TV about being unfairly targeted. But the evidence Marcus had was airtight. The fake listing, the website logs, her emails. It was all there. Every lie she told was backed by a digital footprint she couldn't erase. When the court date finally arrived, the tension was thick. Karen looked exhausted, her arrogance replaced by panic. Marcus, calm and confident, stood before the judge with his documents neatly stacked. The judge's verdict was short but powerful. This court finds Ms. Karen Miller guilty of fraudulent property representation and racial discrimination. She is ordered to pay $75,000 in damages to Mr. Johnson and issue a public written apology. Karen's mouth fell open. Her perfect posture slumped for the first time. She whispered something under her breath. But it didn't matter. The gavel came down, and justice was served. Outside the courthouse, reporters swarmed Marcus, asking how he felt. He simply said, "No one, no HOA, no person, has the right to misuse the law to target others. Real estate laws are meant to protect homeowners, not weaponize power." The clip went viral. People across the country praised Marcus for standing up, not just for himself, but for anyone who'd ever been bullied by an HOA or judged for how they looked. Back home, Marcus sat on his porch again, sipping his coffee. The same place where the chaos had begun. The air felt peaceful now. Neighbors waved at him with smiles of respect instead of whispers of doubt. And across the street, Karen's house stood empty, a real for sale sign posted on her lawn this time. Marcus chuckled softly. Guess she finally listed the right house. He leaned back, the morning sun on his face, and said to himself, "Karma works faster than any lawyer ever could." Sometimes the sweetest justice is revenge. It's watching the truth sell itself.